Love you, Castle. Well. Lux. So stop acting shady. Want something most mean about baby? What the fuck? Like song. Some Jupiter joined the game, bro. I like. Um, the destroyed. It's free. Goes hard. It's free. Good like you guys in the world. I like you guys in the world. Mima goes hard, bro.
Do you think I'm banned on Geopolitica?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you probably are. Love you,
I feel
Castle.
like they made up a reason to ban me.
That's not that. Yo, you should definitely keep fucking infinite villager trades.
I'm not turning on infinite villager trades, you dumbass.
Um, wait, but but Baller won't know about it.
I don't care.
Lux. I swear to God, I just saw a name tag, but never mind. It's not.
Fucking move.
Move what? What did I do? I'm right here. Yo, Axie's parents are so cute, bro. The 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 1-2 off to a move, bro. Lux. Fuck you. The fuck is bro doing? What are you? Castles?
What? 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 Okay, fuck you. Salmon.
Bro, why the fuck am I speaker?
Are you gonna say my name then say nothing?
Your mom, bro, said. Yo, Quetzals.
What?
Yeah, I know I can't hear you. Just give me a minute. Wait, my speaker's turned on now. Bad boy goes hard.
Fire Church was here on an important mission.
Love you,
Even
Castle.
more suspicious, though, was their complete uninvolvement in the Skyhaven raid, and how he had left the Fire Island the same day. On top of it all, though, was the fact that the Church of Fire itself was quite rich, and also had access to enchantments, something peculiar when thinking back on the quite over-geared, over-aggressive, and over-organized barbarians. Now I have to go in and ask, yo, what y'all up to? Anything suspicious?
All we care about is just enlightening others, restoring and taking care of our sanctuary. The volcano, that is, of course.
Damn, so the Skyhaven raid wasn't you guys.
No, that's really none of our business. Our main goal is just to make this sanctuary a safe haven for pilgrims from all islands and all factions. We actually never had any evil intentions.
Well, apparently the Church of Fire was simply here to perform their religious activities in the giant basin of the volcano. They believed that ascending here would be a holier experience than back home on the Fire Island. When finishing their religious outpost, David Dustin planned to bring the rest of the church followers here. Somehow, this frozen wasteland of an island continued to attract more and more players, becoming more vibrant by the day. The Church of Fire wasn't the only attraction on the ice island though. Heading into Meridian, a Skyhaven refugee, Watrock, had opened up a travel agency. For the low cost of a few diamonds, he offered a multitude of options, ranging from Dublin to even the back rooms. I personally paid for a trip to Hawaii, and off we
Bro, what do you want, bro?
Why leave the call?
Cause I'm nowhere near you?
Love you, Quetzal. Like, yeah, like you're like right below me.
No, I'm not.
Where are you?
Going to make my own base?
Bro, I can't even get out of the villager thing. That's a fucking lie. Bro, tell.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
win.
Ah.
Yeah, here we go. Going. We're still going. No way.
Lost? What kind of travel agency is this?
He eventually dropped me off in the middle of nowhere and labeled it Hawaii. Aside from the trip, I also visited a new, or actually old nation. The Ice Kingdom was rebuilding. After spending a few days in the care of Meridian, the refugees decided to venture forth and start anew. At the top of the volcano stood the new Ice Kingdom, and this time, sporting a Christmas tree. Oh my god. See, because of my poor planning, we were closing in on the holidays, and for some festive cheer, I decided to give players a present for fun. Oh, I hope this works. On the ice island, most gathered around for festivities all around. Even the ever-secretive Church of Fire came out of their shell to participate. To continue, beneath the ground was a note block contraption that even played Christmas-themed music. One lone player wasn't enjoying it as much though, coming out of his home complaining that it was too loud. So this player, Turtle CG, took it upon himself to steal presents from underneath the tree and attempt to dampen the mood. But when that didn't work, he resorted to a much darker approach and started secretly attacking pet dogs, which promptly got him chased out of the kingdom.
I caught him. Turtle's going in a bunch of houses and just killing dogs.
Aside from smaller issues like that, life on the ice island became much more peaceful. And for the Ice Kingdom, they would never forget Meridian's hospitality and of course promised to remain their ally if the need ever came. Ever since the attack on Skyhaven, the world was becoming increasingly connected, which could not have been the intended goal. Or could it? Delving back into the depths of the mysterious location, we find ourselves surrounded by fire, stone, and the barbarians. They were gathering for a meetup with what could only be assumed to be their leader, and as the person approached the stage, everyone went silent.
I would like to thank you all for coming today. The fate of Skyhaven was something necessary for the progression of the world. To reward you all, I would like to present you with the rise of new global order.
Hey, that was not the deal. Where are our diamonds?
Yeah, we don't really care. We just really want the diamonds.
As expected. Very well. I had hoped for some change for the better, but I see now that this regime simply cannot be built upon this disorder.
Guards, execute them.
Well, in a massive twist, it seems procrastination's peace wasn't as peaceful as many others had thought. Though currently his true identity remained a secret to the world was now benefiting from the rising era of order that he himself had created. But this so-called peace and order may have been too much for some. Over in Ba Sing Se, poor players had enough of their mistreatment. They had been forced to work all day and night to pay for their rich players' protections, while they themselves not seeing much of the benefit. As a result, the many were now rebelling against the few. Successfully, the workers managed to kick out their oppressors and take over for themselves. Not knowing what to do, those that were kicked out scrambled towards the Fire Kingdom in seek of help. But they weren't the only ones escaping though. Along with the aristocrats were some Fire Kingdom soldiers that had been caught up in the crossfire. Received by Procrastination's elite squadron, they were safe, but some were quite the opposite. As in, the barbarians. Of the dozens killed, 2 of them managed to escape Procrastination's execution and were now wandering aimlessly. Along with their dead brethren, these 2 survivors had been slaughtering others for food and resources all their lives, which in the eyes of Procrastination was the cause of all his troubles to begin with. Now being hunted by the Fire Kingdom's elite squad, they decided it was best to escape back to their island of origin, where they felt the most at home. On the ice island, going around there were multiple churches scattered everywhere. Most within Meridian and the Ice Kingdom followed and prayed to the fish, Cod, their savior in their most desperate time of need.
Cod just saves my life.
But some churches prayed to the blue ice.
This church is blasphemy!
Though, because freedom of religion was a concept carried by Abraxan, the leader of Meridian, to the dismay of many followers of COD, the Blue Ice churches remained open. On the topic of freedom, along came two misfits, both foodless and now starving. After having made it back to the Ice Island, the surviving barbarians quickly remembered why they had left in the first place. And, very unfortunately for one of the churches of COD, they were the first thing that the starving barbarians stumbled upon. Thankfully, before anything bad happened, I'm told a member of the church came out and actually gifted them free fish without knowing who they were. Confused, the two accepted the COD and were asked if they were also followers. I mean, it was free food and free housing. So with that, the Church of COD gained two new quite unconventional followers that day. Nearby, Meridian was dealing with the issues of the barbarians. On the outside, no one knew that behind the scenes, procrastination had basically taken care of the problem, after using them to his own advantage first, of course. But for the rest of the world, after almost 3 days with zero answers, Abraxan was finally ready to call in another world meeting. This time with basically everyone having gotten to know each other after the collapse of Skyhaven. It was a much smaller world. And with Meridian famous for their accommodations, basically everyone, including procrastination, agreed to meet at their town hall. Thanks to your daily cup of news, news about the meeting spread and hopes were high that the world could actually put up a united stance against the isolated barbarians, much to procrastination's amusement. But included in the news was also a wholesome feel-good article about two former barbarians turned COD followers that were now helping others fight starvation. This one not as amusing to procrastination. Today's a busy day for quite a few people. Word on the street was that the barbarians were finally about to be dealt with, and this news had everyone excited. Across the sea, notices were sent out to the Earth and Fire Island for a meeting later today, asking to be extra careful as this would be the largest meeting yet on the server. Someone had also come forth with a new lead on where the barbarians could be hiding, and the point of interest? A Church of COD. The same church that housed the two escaped barbarians, Yomu and the Dazzler, which of course was no coincidence. While plans were being made to go check it out, inside the Ice Island volcano, the Church of Fire had been praying and mining. Being the first to be baptized in this brand new molten sanctuary, David Dustin was now finally ready to move his followers to the new church, and after helping unite the Fire Kingdom alongside procrastination, he felt that it was time for the church to move on to a new chapter in its life, and thus planned to re-establish themselves as an independent organization, something he was going to bring up during the world meeting. Checking back in on Meridian, there were now guards stationed everywhere Throughout the nation, and most prominently around the meeting center. With the news spread, they knew that this could easily become a target for attack, and as such, remained vigilant. As leaders of groups and nations of all sizes started to show up, security was now at its peak. One by one, the seats were being filled, and with the last Earth faction, DPR, showing up, thus officially began the talks.
All right, should we just start talking about some general things for now about what we're discussing?
Sure.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, heading to the team that was checking out the barbarians, the church was just in sight when they discovered something horrible. From what they saw, it was the Fire Kingdom's elite squad coming in and killing everyone. Not only the former barbarians, but anyone that had aided them was slain, all under the reasoning of peace and order. The last two barbarians were gone, the world was cleansed, and procrastination could continue peace talks with his mind at ease. Or so he thought.
No. Somebody just got killed by one of the previous members.
Oh no, that Ravage was part of our people.
Leaders quickly started questioning what just happened.
Even though you said you weren't there, right?
I wasn't there.
Progress? I don't think it was on the
Progress. What did you do? Yep. You got me.
What? What? Alright, what?
What isn't happening anymore? Something had snapped within procrastination. He gave the people the peace that they wanted so badly, but in doing so, they were angry with him. It was pretty justified, and maybe through further talks, things could have calmed down. But his actions that followed definitely gave reason for anger.
Progress is killing her.
Come on, me.
No.
West.
I don't know if working something out is even possible at this point.
Procrastination left, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Everything now was laid onto the table with no more secrets. Skyhaven, the barbarians, and plus with all nation leaders present, everyone now knew the truth. Joining Abraxan, K4 Lit, after realizing what procrastination did to Skyhaven, was righteously furious.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be honest, I want world peace. I want to live peacefully with peeps and have a happy life, but we're just not going to ignore what they did.
David Dustin was equally confused as he was worried.
Okay, so let me tell you what's happening with the Fire Kingdom. The military group of the Fire Kingdom lost all support from the civilians. He did support the church wholeheartedly. He was the first one to get baptized, so...
Rising from the aftermath, Abraxan took the stage.
Procrastination, and consequently the Fire Kingdom itself, is responsible for the death of hundreds of innocent souls. His ideals are dangerous and contain a blatant disregard for life as we know it. In light of recent events, I, Abraxan, alongside the Meridian Council, solemnly declare war on the Fire Kingdom.
One cod to the fish gods. Glory to fish.
We need 4 diamonds.
Where are we killing? Where are we
Kicking their asses.
We can conclude there. Let's all spread out too.
Visiting procrastination, things were different now. Much different. His kingdom, no empire he had formed, was changing. A land of peace, yes still, but now something had trumped that. Order. With what felt like the entire world against him, he still had one last play, calling back in every last favor that the Fire Kingdom had provided throughout the entire event. Procrastination offered them one final gift. It was a message sent to those outlawed, those forgotten, those that had been left behind by civilization. He was giving them a new chance. Traveling around the globe, his elite squad spread the message. Some ignored, but many accepted. Thieves, criminals, murderers. Procrastination didn't care, as they would all be given a new beginning under his rule, as a soldier. And as for the civilians living under the Fire Kingdom, they feared for their lives. Procrastination knew that if they really wanted to leave, he couldn't stop them, and as such, let them flee along with Church of Fire devotees. Because, for some reason, he had a feeling that they'd be coming back. As mobilization efforts continued, resources were needed more than ever, and things weren't quite looking too good for the Fire Kingdom. In light of the recent news, almost all Earth factions broke off their contracts with them, and with the help of Meridian, they were placed under the protection of nearby allies. Currently, the Fire Kingdom was being held up by its emergency reserves and wealthy aristocrats from the Earth Island. With an overall population consisting mostly of soldiers now, food was also at an all-time low, only exacerbated by the amount of new recruits joining their military. Something had to be done soon. Switching sides, Meridian was now growing faster than ever, being supported by not only most of the world's organizations, but even the former Fire Kingdom civilians. Personally visiting the refugees along with David Dustin, they learned of the current state of the Fire Kingdom. This was huge information, and for Meridian and their allies, something they could take advantage of. Whether Abraxan liked it or not, declaring war on the Fire Kingdom made them the protectors against procrastination. In a sense, Meridian was now the de facto global superpower of the world, which was important as on the long-abandoned air islands, there was trouble brewing. The remaining unprotected residents were being scavenged for any semblance of food they had remaining, and if they refused, to put it simply, they received the Day 1 Fire Island experience. Word of this spread fast and only reinforced the information provided to Meridian that procrastination was beginning his war campaign. Alright, looks like things are finally about to start. Really curious about how this ends, honestly. This was it. If there were ever a time to take seriously, it was now. In Meridian, troops were being bolstered, extra reinforcements called for, and their once bustling streets now fallen into complete silence. From all around the globe, soldiers sent by the allied nations showed up in preparation for Meridian's defense. Guards constantly patrolled the walls, scouts on the lookout for any enemy movement, and residents hiding under cover. The tension was higher than ever. Something was going on. Confusingly, procrastination never attacked. Actually, not only did he not attack, it seemed that he never even really made an attempt. As dawn approached, so did the end of Day 9, ending uncomfortably without any bloodshed. Looking around, everyone was uneasy, but as nothing continued to happen, they slowly relaxed. And that's when Abraxan realized.
We've been tricked.
They're all in place.
All right. Let's begin then.
Meridian and allies were horribly mispositioned, and as a result, they paid dearly. Too slow to do anything, newsported as the other nations fell. In summary, Earth factions DPR, Ba Sing Se, and Pillarmen were eradicated, with the few escapees taking advantage of their extremely unsafe bridges to flee. Down below, the Void Cultists, remote hamlets, and even Jack of all jokes couldn't hide from the takeover. As Meridian scrambled to save the Earth refugees, part of the Fire Kingdom's army had made landfall on the Ice Island. Swift raids were launched on the various churches alongside the killings of the news reporters, and most surprisingly, the rebuilt Ice Kingdom. Throughout all the attacks, all were offered salvation if they joined the kingdom, but many refused as they fought till their demise. Meridian and their allies were shocked. They had gathered the world's largest military only to be completely ignored. The number of deaths were staggering, and nations built with hundreds of man-hours now complete ghost towns. This was all getting exhausting. The common consensus within Meridian was that they were all tired. Tired of all the bloodshed, tired of all the fighting, and tired of all the action. The Meridian army was formed to defend against the Fire Kingdom, but now there was nothing left to defend. No homes to go back to, no reason to fight. Abraxan was tired too, and as a result he looked for an alternate way to end this war. Throughout the battles, the Church of Fire remained largely untouched, hopefully meaning that procrastination still held respect for David Dustin. And asking David Dustin to be the middleman, Abraxan had decided. It was time to make a peace deal. After the long days and nights, procrastination was finally going to achieve his goal of peace. And thus, they arrived.
Do you have anything to say about the crimes against the Air Nation that you can it? Maybe you weren't there, but your members that you're currently with were indeed there.
Yeah. Let me think. Oh. I know. The Air Nation was the only nation to refuse an alliance with us. And then we caught their scouts on the Fire Island spying on us while their military leaders discussed invading Fire. When we massacred them, the air race fled to Meridian, the last bastion of hope. You denied me. You declared war on me. And now what do? You come crawling back to me. Huh. Peace, you say? Never.
Procrastination's message couldn't have been any clearer. Back in Meridian, unbeknownst to them, Fire Kingdom soldiers had been lying in wait, watching. The citizens were currently busy constructing graveyards for their fallen comrades, believing that the war was over, and Abraxan had to warn them. Oh my, procrastination's attacking them. Abraxan immediately retreated from the meeting. This was procrastination's magnum opus, an empire that would stretch all corners of the world, bringing a finality of order under his rule. At any moment's notice, he could signal the attack and the final conquest would begin. But he didn't. He had to be there to witness the culmination of his work throughout the entire event and revel in the glory of the Fire Kingdom. The kingdom that could very well soon become the sole kingdom in the world. And this gave just enough time for Abraxan to alert Meridian of the approaching disaster, that procrastination had abandoned peace for order. disheartened soldiers redonned their armor, sentries returned to guarding the walls, and citizens back to hiding in fear. Could this world know no peace?
With your allies gone, you can only hide behind your walls, unable to threaten my island.
It's time.
Progress is here.
Yeah, they've been here.
They're coming.
East. They really chose a good spot to find us.
So, I guess
Whoa.
Someone's lighting TNT. Back up.
Get off the wall.
Oh, some of the procrastination people are coming from the north.
I fell.
It doesn't matter. We need to stay together.
Retreat to the temple. We can't.
Retreat to the temple.
Everyone, fight is upon us, and our walls cannot stop it. They are crumbling from Fire Kingdom attacks, and soon our adversaries will tear through Main Street. We are losing this war. Procrastination's peace is the grand accumulation of mountains of bloodshed, costing hundreds of lives in the process. I ask you now, desperately, please, if you previously held apprehension about fighting, just shelf it. We are the last light of a very, very dark world burned to ashes. Join us in preserving what we've built. Join us for all those lost to this senseless bloodshed. Join us in the hopes of ending this bloody war. It is time for our final stand.
Some people are logging back in just to fight. Under procrastination's rule, yes, he welcomed anyone, and yes, there technically would be peace. But his kingdom was built off pure bloodshed and order. This conquest of the world would leave nothing behind. There would be no races, no cultures, no you. Just who would want to live in such a world? So many more people are joining in on the fight. This is crazy. Oh, they got their first kill.
Let's run this back one last goddamn time.
It was over. With the help of everyone, Fire Kingdom soldiers were all defeated one by one, and as his grand design slowly fell apart, procrastination himself fled. The aftermath wasn't a pretty one, with mayhem strewn all about, but the people of Meridian could not have cared less. The following day was filled with festivities and cleanup. Some decided to stay with Meridian while others traveled back to their homelands to rebuild. Whatever their decision, it was well received and supported. And regarding the peace deal, well, our players realized that there was really never a need for one to begin with. In this crazy world filled with all sorts of issues, instead of some arbitrary deals, maybe all they really needed was the bits of both chaos and order for any meaningful peace. Oh, and as for procrastination, well, his fate remains unknown.
I got lit on fire. But luckily I was able to stay crouched, and there was a mushroom covering me. It looked to me that Emil and his gang were leaving. This was getting interesting. And just as quickly as they came, they left. They were complete savages. Everything that we had worked on was destroyed. They didn't have any respect. Later on that day, we got informed that the admins were taking us to a new world, one where we could conquer the lands and show who really is the dominant clans. But I don't care about all of that. My goal now and for the foreseeable future is tracking down and hunting anyone who was responsible for this attack. And I would kill them all one by one, leaving Emil Ruse last. Bring on the new world.
This is a frozen wasteland with little food, shelter, or resources. To make it even worse, if my temperature falls too
As the ultimate test of each civilization's strength, Day 8 is Doomsday, where the portals will open, allowing players to invade other dimensions in an all-out interdimensional war. To find out which dimension will be victorious, sit back, relax, and pick a team to root for, as I present to you the 1000 Players Dimension Civilization Experiment. Now that the players have begun spawning in, it's become immediately clear which dimension has the most challenging start. How are you finding the Nether?
It's hell. It's awful. It's so bad.
What have you done to us, Marcus?
Now, the Nether, as you probably know, is an absolute nightmare. The players have to contend with lava everywhere, fire, and some very dangerous neighbors. And that's not even taking into consideration the huge problem of starvation.
I am so hungry.
Not only is there nothing to eat, but one of the only edible mobs, hoglins, eats you. As you can imagine, considering the players have absolutely nothing at the start, it's a total slaughter. I must quickly say, I'm not intentionally punishing these players. These lunatics actually chose to go to the Nether in their application forms, so it's not my fault. Despite the widespread suffering, there are some players that are thriving though. A few brave players that are raiding bastions far from spawn are quickly becoming the wealthiest players in the Nether. However, it's a risky business.
Solar, run!
Speaking of businesses, one player, called Perspective, has huge ambitions to become the richest businessman in the Nether. I didn't yet know what his genius plan was. However, I did know that his entire operation all hinged on the success of one thing, creating a way to get up and down from the Nether roof. And to do that, Perspective has invented this. Now, if this contraption doesn't succeed, Perspective's entire plan will be for nothing.
It's the contraption. This allows us to go on the roof and down from the roof, and no one on the internet knows about this. Okay, listen. This requires precise coordination, okay? Without precise coordination, the top guy dies and this whole plan falls apart.
Let's do this.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah,
all right. I need somebody to give the initial push.
I'll do it.
Going to space.
Alright, gang. If I die, it's been an honor. Send it.
What the hell? Wait.
Okay, push.
Are you up?
Oh, we did it!
Oh my god.
Give it the push.
Okay.
That's
You're down. Oh my god.
How cool is this, though? How insanely cool is this?
It was after the successful testing of this frankly genius method was complete that Perspective told me his brilliant plan to create the most profitable business in the Nether. His group of employees, which he calls the Roofers, have collected the Nether's only supply of warped fungus to ensure that they have a total monopoly on the growth of warped trees and the sale of warped Nether wood.
We're gonna do a monopoly. He's the only person who does this.
This means that they can sell warped wood to the blowers, their name for anyone living under the roof, for extortionate prices to hugely enrich themselves at the expense of everyone else. We'll have to come back and check in on Perspective later. Now it's time to meet the overworld. The overworld is of course a far safer dimension than the Nether, which has allowed the players here to do whatever they want, with very few natural dangers to stop them. Now, despite the players having the freedom to do whatever they please, I was rather surprised when I came across what looked like a town of round wooden houses. When I asked Henry West, the leader of this community, what was going on, this was his response.
Allow me to tell you through the medium of throat singing.
It turns out that this community was actually the beginnings of a Mongolian Khanate, which is effectively a Mongolian tribe that's ruled by a supreme leader called a Khan. And all the round houses were in fact meant to be yurts.
We're going to build our yurts here so we can get drunk and start riding horses.
I was rather impressed as to how quickly they'd set up their Mongolian Khanate. However, I was a bit shocked to find out how Henry had obtained all of his materials so fast.
Anyone under the age of 15, get yourselves into the mines. Start riding.
Child labor.
That's the thing. You say that's child labor. Look what happens. We ban child labor, then all of you are on Minecraft. You children yearn for the mines.
It was after learning this dark secret that Henry invited me to attend a meeting where the elders of the tribe plan to elect a Khan to rule over them.
Was it not I who led you here? Was it not I who envisioned this glorious Mongolian tribe? Yurts spanning as far as the eye could see, open plains, etc. Remember, gentlemen, as the motto is, I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
After all the candidates were heard, and each member of the tribe had cast their vote, it was no surprise as to who had won.
Henry West, you have been elected by the majority and are thus chieftain of our tribe. Congratulations.
and for my first edict as the tribal leader, this Kurultai has now ended. Let's all go to the bar and get absolutely smashed.
Meanwhile, on the far side of the overworld, the two other settlements had been formed. First, there's Aurin, and secondly, along its coast, is the separate nation of Gaia. It was all going well, with both nations progressing nicely, all until a player from Gaia, called Potato King, tried to steal Aurin's only cow.
Potato King, stop picking the cows.
He just killed the cow! He just killed the cow!
Bro, we literally had a cow.
Potato King came over and killed the cows.
Alright, execute the man.
This is literally war now.
The death of their only cow hit the citizens of Aurin very hard, and they swore they'd get revenge on Gaia for the heinous crime. Gaia, fearing a military retaliation from Aurin over the cow, voted to exile Potato King and his followers in hopes of saving themselves. Potato King and his friends were outraged that they'd been banished from their homes and craved revenge of their own against both Aurin and Gaia, which leads us to this meeting.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Potato King. Potato King and his band of men were from a neighboring city across the hills and across the plains. Potato was drastically and tragically forced out of his own city by traitors within his ranks, and now they turn to us for support. Tell us your story, Potato.
I've come here to ask for asylum from the great Henry Rest and help to take back our lands.
I have confirmed intelligence that the people they are talking about do indeed hate our way of life, hate our freedom, and hate the great plains to which the Khanate call home. Now, gentlemen, I'm offering you this. I'll be entirely honest with you. They want their home back. I want to use cavalry. How does that sound, gentlemen?
Sounds great.
Amazing.
I propose a horse-born invasion. We will reclaim their land for them, and in the process, secure allies.
And so, over the death of a single cow, on day one, it now looked like the main communities of the overworld were already on the brink of war. Now it's time we meet our third and final dimension, the end. Immediately after spawning in, the players realize they aren't alone. In an attempt to flee the Ender Dragon, players bridged over to the other island.
I say we just ditch the main island.
On which they hope they'd find safety. However, they quickly found that their new neighbors are a bit shy and don't like to be looked at. And that was only a problem for the people who made it to the other island. Many didn't even get that far.
Oh, someone just fell into the void. I just witnessed the death.
Now, the end has a big disadvantage compared to the other dimensions. You see, because it's made up of floating islands, there isn't actually that much land, which means all 333 players in the end have to struggle to compete over the limited amount of ores and, more importantly, food.
I'm on half a hunger. I'm about to die.
Unfortunately, in a scramble to feed themselves, players in the end have stolen the majority of the chorus plants, leading to a dimension-wide famine.
I'm dying.
This has forced players to work together to create and protect precious chorus plants, without which they know they have no chance of survival. It was this shared hunger and need to carefully plan the farming of food that led to the formation of the first societies in the end, with each island becoming its own self-contained community. And it soon became clear that the bigger your island was, the more resources you would have access to, thus making your community stronger.
Because we need to expand somewhere.
Expand the empire.
And the biggest island of them all is the Center Island, making it a very attractive area to colonize for ambitious players seeking to start their own nations. However, currently, the Center Island is occupied.
Bring it down, bring it down.
In a bid to make the Center Island a safe place to live, a huge group of players formed up and waged a battle against the dragon. Eventually, after many players gave their lives, the Ender Dragon was defeated. Meaning the Center Island is free real estate, but who will be bold enough to claim it? Well, one player in particular, Tamer, believes that the Center Island is the perfect place to bring his grand ambitions into fruition. You see, Tamer, along with his partner Powerade, have been watching the impoverished people of the End, observing their struggle to survive, and have come up with a plan to generate immense wealth for themselves and anyone else who will follow them. They plan to build what Tamer calls the Iron Bank. The Center for Finance, trade and monopolization of key resources in the end. And around this bank, Tamer has ambitions to construct a grand free city.
The free city is going to be the largest city in the end.
A home for all those that work at the Iron Bank and share his values of wealth through freedom and strength. Tamer hopes to build a grand temple, a military barracks to guard the bank, large farms to feed all, and most importantly, to build a flourishing economy through player-owned businesses. However, it's only day one, and there's still a long way for Tamer to go to reach his grand goals. And so, by the end of day one, we have two ambitious businessmen, Tamer in the end, and Perspective in the nether, both willing to go to any length to amass personal wealth at any cost. We'll have to see how successful both of them are, and how they affect not only the players around them, but the futures of the dimensions themselves in the coming days. It's now day 2, and I'm very keen to find out how Henry's Mongolian Khanate is doing in the overworld. Especially because the last time we saw them, it seemed like the major overworld nations were on the brink of war, with Henry's Mongols planning a horse-borne invasion of Aurian over the whole Potato King cow debacle. However, despite this, it seems some players in the overworld have been spreading anti-war propaganda. No war, we want peace, corruption.
That's hippies.
Hippies?
Yes, hippies. You know, the long-haired people who never wash them.
Despite Henry not agreeing with the so-called hippies campaigning for peace, he does see the logic in not sacrificing Mongol lives over foreign arguments, and so held a meeting calling off the horseborn invasion.
I'm not having the people of the Khanate die over things that, quite frankly, aren't our business. We don't want to use our horses in violence, at least not yet.
Now, even though he's called off the imminent invasion, Henry...
you.